An ordinary weekday in the summer of 2013 at cheerleading practice. I was at my cheer gym in Plum. My coach had opened the garage doors for us to get a breath of fresh, warm evening breeze. The parents chit-chatted amongst themselves in the waiting room while my teammates and I practiced. This particular evening was dedicated to practicing our tumbling skills, old and new. We spent time both on the tumble track, which is a long trampoline where you can do connecting tricks on, and also worked on our tricks on the spring floor. I was working on a new trick called a whip punch layout. I saw people doing it in movies and at competitions. I never expected myself to try this trick, but I was getting bored with my same old tricks. I wanted to spice things up, so I began practicing it on the tumble track. Being able to land a whip punch layout on the tumble track in itself is an accomplishment for me. I alternated between practicing it on the tumble track and perform my old skills on the floor, such as layouts and back tucks. With each pass of the whip punch layout on the tumble track, I gained more power. My landings progressed as well as my form. You could see the confidence in my face. My coach took account at how well I was doing. He told me to try it on the floor. I was nervous, but with my first pass on the floor, I landed perfectly. I had never been excited over a new trick as much as I was that day. I spent the last half hour of practice doing my new trick on the floor and skipped the tumble track. As the evening progressed, I grew exhausted and had bullets of sweat running down my face. Towards the last 10 minutes of practice, my coach told us to take our last pass of the night. Although I was worn out, I wanted to do it one more time. I was so excited. I began to take my last pass. As I threw the first layout, I came down and rolled my ankle. I sat on the floor and said, "Ouch." I was in shock. The worst pain I ever felt up until then was stoving my fingers. This was a whole new feeling, and I did not know how to react to it. My coach came over and asked if I had to vomit. I said no. So he said, "It's not broken." I sat there till one of the parents got me a splint and ice. I had carpooled with a teammate, so we had to leave early for me to get back to my mom. The drive home was painful. As we went around each bend while I was in the car, I felt a shooting pain in my ankle. Once I got acquainted with my mom, she took me to the emergency room. The doctors took an x-ray, which showed a hair of a tear of my ligament. They wrapped it up, sent me home, and scheduled a follow-up MRI. After the MRI, it was confirmed that I had 2 completely torn ligaments. I was then upgraded to a boot and crutches. I spent months after that in physical therapy. The Whirlpool felt great on my ankle. I had a long way to go before I'd be fully healed. Eventually, I could do without the crutches, but the boot stuck with me until the very end. After about 6 months of therapy, I was back to light tumbling and eventually the harder stuff. I have not done a whip punch layout on the floor since that day. I learned through this experience that when your body tells you it's exhausted, you need to listen. Had I not forced a last tumbling pass on my worn out self that day, I probably would have went home with 2 working ankles. Thank you.